And now, coming to you straight from the 505's most news-biting source of politic-comitainment, it's the New Mexico Inquisition with Danger Cavaros.
All right. Welcome back to the New Mexico Inquisition, Season 2. This is Episode 13. Thanks for all being here tonight. All right, we got a great show for you tonight. Political blogger Joe Monahan is in the house. We also have our head writer with us tonight. New Mexico political analyst Ann Gora is with us on the panel. And a good friend of the show, he's an improv performer on the Hive. You should check it out. They perform downtown. He's a very funny man. Comedian Tito Dameron is joining us on the panel. So let's talk about the news. What's in the news? Of course, Albuquerque city councilors are pushing through this gross receipts tax hike, 0.3% that's supposed to go towards public safety, of course. And recently elected Mayor Tim Keller ran a platform promising that if there was any sort of raise in taxes that had to do with public safety, it would go to a public vote. And now that there is no vote while this is coming through, a lot of people are kind of angry. You know, a lot of people are also angry with Tim Keller for referring to the Albuquerque Rapid Transit situation as Project Lemonade. Have you ever heard this? He did this, yeah. You know, people are giving him a hard time. You know, I say give him a chance, you know, like, if you're looking for someone to blame for what's going on, you know, better call Mayor Barry with the good hair. Like those dance moves? Speaking of dance, a dance studio in Rio Rancho has been teaching courses in self-defense and gun disarming techniques to people who are fearful after the recent string of school shootings. That's right, they're using dance. They're telling people that dance is an adequate method of disarming a maniac with an assault rifle. I think they're doing it wrong. It's the wrong art form. I say they use slam poetry. Yeah, that's the kung fu of talking. Here's that. Put the gun down. Put the gun down. UNM is teaming up with JCPenney to teach students how to dress for success. That's right, they're having seminars on necktying. They're giving people makeovers. I can't imagine how bad things must have been for them to step in like this. Like, what were students doing? Yeah. It was apparently a response to how they were showing up to job interviews. Like, how bad was it getting before this happened? You know, like, were they showing up in sweatpants with tomatillo stains on their tap-out t-shirts? That's some slam poetry right there. You can use that. The recently elected mayor of Santa Fe made an announcement that he wants to renovate the city. He wants to give it a big upgrade. He wants to make it the most renewable city in the nation, and he also wants to make Santa Fe affordable enough that anybody can live there. That's right. Residents of Santa Fe were heard saying, what's that now? Say what? City councilors are pushing to decriminalize marijuana in the amount of less than an ounce. If you're caught with less than an ounce, instead of being in super big trouble, they'd rather you just get a citation of around $25. But we all know that anyone with less than an ounce of marijuana already spent their $25. Could you spot me this citation, officer? Could you spot me? I'll get you back next time, officer. Three billboards outside of Roswell, New Mexico, a sign went up that's causing a stir. It reads, the city of Roswell does not care about public safety. Danger, that's me. Danger, enter at your own risk. It's crazy. There's another sign that reads that the city of Roswell has a homicide rate 2.5 times that of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah, who's dogging on Roswell? Who's putting up these signs? Is it aliens? It's not aliens. We looked into it. Turns out that the city of Roswell police union are the ones paying for the billboards. So the police themselves are dogging their own city. That's right. I've never heard of a situation where trashing your own department resulted in a pay raise. But apparently this is all about some sort of a citywide debate about pay for officers, so it's crazy. In retaliation, Albuquerque Police Officers Association Union are printing out t-shirts that say, Albuquerque, still better than Roswell. Take that, Roswell. Pow, 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 pow. Speaking of cops, did you hear about the McClendon pocket card? APD officers are carrying around a little printout card in their pockets that list off nonviolent citations for which they're supposed to, or nonviolent offenses for which they're supposed to just simply write citations for rather than shoot them to death. I mean, arrest them, rather than arrest them. That's right. I mean, it sounds like a good idea to me, but I'm still going to wear my citation-proof vest when I take a nap in the park. There's an epidemic in Hagerman, New Mexico. Am I saying that right? Hagerman? There's an epidemic. There's a skunk epidemic. The whole town is overrun by skunks right now. It's a real stinky situation for those folks down there. Oh, that joke stinks. No, it's a real bad situation. I was like, but leave it to New Mexico to have a plague that's even more badder than anything from the Bible, right? By the way, no unspayed cat is safe in Hagerman, New Mexico right now. Come to me, my darling. We make such good music together. An Albuquerque woman was recently arrested for possession of methamphetamine. Her excuse, that it was a prescription methamphetamine. That's what she told the police. It was a prescription that she had obtained in no other place than Farmington. That's right. She even had a little prescription bottle with a label that she had printed out herself. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, that's nuts. Relax, it's just Adderall. It's a prescription. We got a great show for you tonight. We'll be back after these messages. All right. Welcome back to the New Mexico Inquisition. I am, of course, your host, Danger Quevaros. Tonight we have our head writer, New Mexico Inquisition political analyst, Ann Gora, in the house with us tonight. Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely, Danger.
Are you down?
I'm down as F.
Okay, cool. Good.
That's all I can say.
I'm glad you remembered this is going on the television.
Oh.
You know, children watch this show.
I'm sure they do.
To my left, joining us is New Mexico political blogger Joe Monahan. He's joining us on the show.
Woo!
Thank you. We've been a huge fan of your blog since the beginning, since the very beginning.
Well, you were a very young man when you
Yes,
became a fan.
I was but 31,
There you
and now
go.
I'm 32, and so much has happened.
It's great to be here. Big fan of the Inquisition.
Thank you, thank you. We're also joined by a comedian and improv performer, Tito Dameron, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm here. I'm excited.
Now, we had comedian Lucas Corvata,
Oh, he's great.
political analyst on the show, and he was pushing his wig-ats,
Yes.
the self-invention. Now, what is this? contraption on your head?
This is a hat. I know no other adjective to add to that, but it's the only thing that I own that has sentimental value. This is the hat that I got from when I had cancer, and so I'd wear this to keep my head warm.
Wow.
And I've had it for 8 years? Yeah.
Woo!
That really brings the sun right out. Thanks a lot for that.
No, it's great. I'm here. It's
Well,
great.
You are here. Survivor. You know, that's why we had you on the show, because we were going to talk about cancer all night. So
All right, I can do that.
With a hat like that, doesn't he look like somebody who would be down for a lot of hacky sack with that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Should I not wear the hat for this show? I'm wearing a tie. I should commit fully to the tie without the
no,
hat.
it's
right?
good. It's iconoclastic. It's fabulous.
Great.
I love it. I love it. All right. So, have you read any interesting news this week on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you millennials get your news these days?
Well, I went on to Google News and I saw a headline that was about copper in the Sandias or something, some copper mining thing, and then I shifted over to the entertainment section of Google News, and I was like, oh, Meghan Markle's doing a thing in Wales or wherever.
Wow, your news retention is absolutely astounding.
It is. That's why I'm an improviser. I can just blurt stuff out as opposed to thinking too fast.
You don't have to be good. You just do.
Exactly.
You just do.
You get it.
So you're in a show called The Hive that's playing downtown.
Yes, I am.
When is your next show?
Tonight at 10:15.
Well, this won't air until after that show.
It's also the next week and the one after that in perpetuity.
Are they on every Friday night?
Every Friday night at 10:15.
At the Box Performance
The
Space?
Box, yes.
That's amazing. How much are tickets?
$8.
That's incredibly affordable and absolutely worth
It is.
every cent.
We're great.
What about you, Ann? Do you have any shows coming up after this show airs next week?
Oh, geez. I can't remember right now. I'm always up to something. Just look up at Ann Gora on Twitter, and that's where you can find me. Are we going to talk about...
You actually won, Albuquerque's best Twitter at some point? Did that happen?
Did I?
Did you? Or are you just a runner-up?
I must be a runner-up or
Okay.
something.
You
I
gotta
don't
follow
know,
her on
because I
Twitter.
didn't have anybody call me.
Because your Twitter's golden. Well, they would have DM'd you on Twitter about it.
Well, then that's it.
All right.
If they slide into my DMs without a picture, I don't open it.
That's good advice. Now, Joe, are you on Twitter?
Yeah, NewsGuy44.
NewsGuy44. Do you have links to your blog on Twitter?
Yeah, I do. I post my blog on Twitter, the links every day, and on Facebook too for all the millennials.
I don't. Oh, yeah, that's nice of you, because we have short attention spans.
I know, very fair.
When we first started the show, Sheridan, a co-producer, and I, we Googled New Mexico politics. That was the first thing that we did. We're like, well, what should we do? And your blog is the first thing that comes up in New Mexico politics. How long have you been doing the blog?
About 15 years now. Yeah,
Wow.
It's been a pretty good run.
That's longer than I've been alive. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm like Adam. I'm glad to be here. Call him Adam.
That's great.
That's his new name.
No, that's cool.
That's right. I've been an Adam in an improv senior club too.
No, he has a first man aesthetic to him that I appreciate.
That's right.
One thing I noticed about your blog is that it's funny. Not all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but it is very funny. We have a very hard time not stealing all your jokes.
You're welcome to them. I mean, at the rate you pay, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
You know?
no, it's great. We get our big budget from U Public Studios,
Oh,
who has an
wow.
equally large budget.
We'll be on the satellite with that budget.
So, what made you start doing your blog?
Well, I've always been interested in politics, and I do like the humor of politics, and I don't think there's enough of that. So you're doing it, and I'm trying to continue that tradition of, we got to laugh at ourselves a little, especially if you live in New Mexico where we're 49th and 50th. It can get pretty, pretty
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So I started off in politics back in the day and at the University of New Mexico, and as a journalist and public relations guy and consultant. So it's just a continuation. But I really like it because I'm my own boss, and I can do it at 2 in the morning in my pajamas if I want to, and I usually do.
I always imagined you doing it naked.
What kind of,
That's not a very good thought for most of the audience, I don't think, but that can happen. That can happen. I'm on deadline. I don't have time to put the pajamas on.
what kind of jammers?
Yeah.
I want to know what these jammers look like.
Well, they're not the ones where your feet are covered like when you're a little kid, you know, they're more like, you know, boxer shorts and, you know, a top.
Oh.
You know.
No, that's it.
So that's actually shorter than I thought. This is, you know, compared to like the kind of I don't know, the kind of like full pajamas with the full long arms
The
and the full long
onesie?
pants and the no separates, and then the little cap with the little ball on the end of it.
And he's got
That's
the
what
little
I
candle on
imagined.
the tray. He's like,
Yes.
every night before he
It
goes to bed.
depends. If you're blogging about Republicans, you have the one, you know, the one set of pajamas, and then Democrats, you have the others.
What kind of pajamas do you wear, Tito?
I grew up in Florida, so the goal is to wear as little clothing as possible. So I have never worn pajamas.
No way. Adam, the first man, sleeps in the nude. I could never imagine that.
You know, you're joking. I actually wear a suit and tie while I'm blogging.
Oh, yeah.
Civilized.
Totally formal.
Yeah.
Well, this is fun. We'll be right back with these messages to talk about some real ish. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
I need a minute. I get dry mouth.
Are we back? It feels like we're back.
I think so.
Good. Double thumbs up.
Double
All right,
thumbs up.
we're back with our guest, Joe Monahan, the political blogger. What's going on tonight over at the Sheraton?
Well, they're getting ready for their big Democratic pre-primary convention tomorrow, and tonight they're having a lot of parties and then giving the delegates lots of food and liquor in hopes of influencing them.
Oh.
You know, something like that.
Oh, okay.
The big convention's tomorrow with 1,500 delegates, so all the people are coming in tonight to the hotel, and there's all these receptions, and they're all decided on how they're going to vote for these candidates pretty much. So it's more of like a, you know, a celebration of the Democratic Party. And stop by. I'm sure, you know, the food will still be there when this is done.
Oh, they don't want our
You know.
kind over there. Actually, they do. I believe our show's producer, Stephanie Tejas, is a delegate.
Is that right?
That's right. She'll be voting. So that'll be fun.
That'll be
I
fun.
give basically most of my loyalty to anybody who brings me food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's true.
I hope you.
Good plan.
Yeah. I'll be anxiously awaiting the day you become a delegate, and I'll show
Yeah.
up with tacos.
Yes. I'll just be like, danger for president, my vote.
So we have a lot of really fun candidates this year. Fun candidates. We have a lot of fun candidates. They're fun.
Yeah.
People like Deb Holland. She was on the show.
Yeah.
What do you know about Deb?
Well, I know she's former chairwoman of the Democratic Party. She is running hard for the congressional nomination for the Democrats, and
She's favored to win, I believe.
she's favored to win the convention, but the election itself is in June 5th, and that is going to be a pretty competitive race, I think, between her and several of the other candidates. There's 6 that are running, and her kind of claim to fame in the campaign has been that I would be the first Native American woman in the U.S. House, which is a pretty big deal,
Yeah.
and has generated a lot of attention. But I think as we go forward, it's going to get a little more competitive on terms of where the candidates stand on the issues, not just your ethnic identity or your
Sure.
identity. So we're headed into a kind of an exciting Democratic primary for the seat, which is being given up by Representative Lujan Grisham, who in turn is running for governor.
So
Yeah.
that'll be a sticky race because I understand she upset some of the progressives in the state during the straw poll back during the presidential nomination
Deb Holland.
process. That's right.
Yes, she
that's
did,
right.
and she's got some peace to make with the Bernie Sanders group because they felt slighted, that they felt that she was tilting it towards Hillary Clinton. So that's a little subtext going on. And
How exactly did she do that?
Well, I think she had a party. There was a party for Hillary, and she showed up at it and kind of helped coordinate it. And they felt she got too involved with that personal appearance of Hillary. That was one example of what happened.
In regards to the straw poll itself?
The straw poll is like you just said, a straw poll. It sets the ballot access for June 5th. If you don't get 20% of the delegates tomorrow, you can still get on the ballot, but you have to submit additional signatures. More importantly, if you can't get 20% in your own party, it says a lot about your candidacy.
Right.
So they're going to kind of winnow it out, Danger, winnow it down to the main candidates who are strong and that you'll be hearing a lot about in April and May before the June voting.
Well, this whole thing sounds like, it's like she showed up at a Hillary party. It sounds like high school.
It does.
It's just high school all over
Come to
again.
that.
I understand that it's exactly like high school.
High school. Except you don't get to vote in high school.
I've heard people talking smack about Steve Pierce because every time he's been on TV in the last month or so, he's had a big herpy on his mouth. Did you hear about that?
I don't, listen, all I'm saying is Steve Pierce has shoved me into a couple lockers. And he's not going to get my vote.
Did he lock you in the locker or just shove you into the,
He just shoved me into it, and then when somebody saw that he was doing it, he walked away. So luckily, it never got shut.
That is so Steve.
That is.
That sounds just like
Is
him.
that
What's his
fake news?
problem? What's his
Yes.
deal?
That's fake news.
As the home of fake news. Let's see, what else do we have here? Other exciting candidates. We have Michelle Lujan Grisham running for the governor. Who is she running against?
Well, she's running against Jeff Apodaca, who's a businessman, former TV executive, and son of former Governor Jerry Apodaca from a long time ago, and also Joe Cervantes, who's a senator from down in Las Cruces, a state senator, and Peter DeBenedettis, who's an anti-alcohol counselor who comes from Santa Fe and is kind of the main progressive candidate in the race. She's heavily favored. There hasn't been a lot of negative stuff. I mean, she hasn't shoved anybody into any lockers that I know of.
That's right. Yeah, no, I mean, when we were kissing under the bleachers on the football field, I was like, I'm voting for her.
There you made up your mind. Huh?
All I know is I could never get on her table at lunch. Like, there's always full.
That's right.
Always.
Yeah, all the cheerleaders, popular kids.
Well, I mean, all the other kids have like cool lunch boxes, and you have that weird brown bag.
Yeah, that's leaking.
My mom is so
What is it
stupid.
leaking?
I don't know, but it's leaking and it smells really bad.
It's my sandwich. Don't talk about my sandwich that way.
What was the last name? Apodaca?
Apodaca.
That sounds like a spicy candy bar.
Yes,
No, yeah, he's great. He's got a great head of hair, nice looking chin. I don't know a whole lot more about him.
That's all I need to know.
My
You're in for
understanding,
this guy.
he's one of the most progressive candidates in the field. Is that?
I think he's kind of more centrist with that business background, but so far it's one for Michelle, one for Apodaca, so this could be a focus group we're doing
Sure.
here tonight.
We have Michelle Lujan Grisham. She's going to be coming on the show later this season.
that'd be fun.
As well as Peter
Great.
DeBenedettis.
Yeah.
Jeff Apodaca did not have the time, so
He
he's
didn't
going to
have
lose.
the time.
He's not going to win because he didn't come on the show.
Too late.
Need that in him position
And
bump.
that's, I'm assuming, what will happen to all of Deb Holland's.
She's going to have a massive victory after appearing on the Inquisition.
Yeah, she shares this a couple times. All I can say is Tim Keller came on the show twice,
There you go.
and now look at him.
How about the guy in Santa Fe? Very good. What about the Santa Fe mayor, Alan Weber? He didn't come on the show.
I don't know about Santa Fe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we can do anything for Santa Fe.
No.
These Adderall are delicious. Would you like an Adderall?
I like the janitor here, but they were on the floor. So, enjoy.
Now, we talk about the gross receipts tax
Yeah.
in the monologue. What do you know about this? People are upset that Tim Keller's going back on some sort of a campaign promise. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, it is true, and he more or less admitted that he needed the money now and he couldn't wait, so he wanted to. He couldn't send it out to the election like he promised. But there's going to be a lot of this. I mean, Tim Keller, Danger, is like a guy who checks into a 5-star hotel, and then the doors close, and he finds out he's actually in prison. You know, it's a tough job.
And everybody's mad at you.
Are they?
I was gonna say it's like, he's like, oh, well, I'm gonna get all this stuff done, and now he's on the phone with J.G. Wentworth because he needs cash now.
Okay.
It's not working, right?
I get that. Yeah, that's cool.
So for our younger voters who are not sure how to get involved, before the big election comes up.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for young people?
I think they can tune in. There's so many avenues they can tune into. Facebook and Twitter that she mentioned, this show, my blog, and if you want to get involved, start reading about it and talking with your friends about it. I think we had Gus Pedrati, who was a pretty good mayoral candidate. You know, I think he got a lot of the younger people in Albuquerque involved, and that was really healthy. And hopefully we get more younger candidates, because I think that that's what draws the younger voters in, the new generation. Like Keller was just turned 40, which by political standards is pretty
Very
young.
young,
But I think
yeah.
a lot of young people in the city have responded to him, and I think that's how we'll see Albuquerque progress in the years ahead with the new generation coming aboard.
They're actually doing a push for younger voters. I don't know if you heard this, that they were trying to get high schoolers available to vote. What was it called?
Registration?
No, not the registration. It's a liberal-leaning group that's trying to get about 5,000, I believe, or 1,500 teenaged 17 will be 18 when the voting comes up for the midterms.
I think there's a lot of interest. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think the whole Trump phenomenon, good, bad, or whatever,
That's a
has
good word for
really turned everybody into kind of at least a part-time political junkie. Like, what's he going to say next? What does it mean? And I think we're learning, you know, a lot of people who weren't in politics are kind of learning as they go with this whole new phenomenon. And so maybe that'll be something good that comes out of this whole chaotic era that we're in, that we kind of get a new consciousness going.
So
It
a
does
lot
feel
of
like the sky's the
a
limit.
lot of voters have one big issue that they vote on. What's your issue?
Well, for New Mexico, you know, my big issue is education for these young people, early education. I think that's what we're getting really hurt on, is that we're not creating a workforce that's competitive for all these high-tech jobs and these new jobs that are really good and that we could get here. So that's a big issue, and it dovetails with crime, because I think that we get more crime when we have less educated people. So that's my big issue.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you,
I
Danger.
appreciate
It's always
it.
fun.
We got Joe Monahan, Tito Dameron, Ann Gora. Always fabulous, you two.
Thank you.
This has been the New Mexico Inquisition. Check us out next week. Peace out.
Yeah.